Hey, what's up guys? We're back with another LS tips and tricks video. Okay, so today we're gonna be talking about how to remove and replace a ceiling tile that has a fire sprinkler head in it. So a couple things to note. It is something you have to pay attention to. Don't be super scared of them, but definitely be cautious. There is this red, it's I think it's plastic. And essentially if it gets too hot, it melts and that's where the water comes through. If you hit it, it will also break and water will start coming out, and it will not stop until you go turn the water off at the main fire riser valve. So we want to be careful, but it is doable. So first and foremost, we need to remove this ring. This is just kind of pressure fit on there. Kind of hard to do one-handed, but okay. So the ring is off. We can just set that to the side. And then all the magic happens up top. So this is kind of what you're looking at on top. I think this is how most of them are. I mean, to be honest, this is about 5 minutes ago was the first time I had ever seen this exact setup, but I kind of messed with it and figured out how to get it apart. So this is the first thing, is undo this little wing nut. The other side actually doesn't have one because it is too close to the light. And then there's this clip that comes up and then the whole thing slides up. Now this isn't enough to let me get that out. And so what I need to do is there's a clip back here, loosen that up. You can kind of see that loosened it. And then there's this other wing nut on the front right here that I loosened. And then the whole sprinkler head slides up. And now it's up and out of the way for the most part. If I lift it, I can get it even more out of the way. And everything's pretty flexible, so I'm not worried too much about that, you know, breaking or anything. And then if I can get the ceiling tile up and pull it out of the way, that is how I'm going to get the ceiling tile out. So I will get this down on the ground and show you how to cut that hole and go on to the next step. Okay, so just like before where we cut a tile in half, or in another video, we are going to just trace this out. Do our best. If you have a hole saw, obviously you're welcome to use it. I thought I could just take this and pop it through, but that hole is not quite as big as I need it to be to have a little bit more wiggle room. So I'm just gonna kind of saw around this and it should work fine. It doesn't have to be a great cut because this beauty ring slash escutcheon is going to kind of cover up any of my ugliness. Okay, so that is what we are left with. Gonna trim the edge up, make sure our escutcheon fits great. So this is just a test piece. I didn't want to waste a whole piece, but I will show you how to install it now. Okay, so we're back up top. And in hindsight, it would have been easier for me to push the tile that way to begin with, because this distance is obviously way less than the other side. But we're learning this all at the same time. So now I got it back in here. I'm gonna slide on. Be careful to slide because I don't want to scratch the face up. But it should at some point just drop down on the other side. There we go. And then push this down. That's gonna clip in. And then I'm gonna kind of bump it just to get it center of that hole. And it looks like this moved a little bit as well, so I'm gonna slide that over, just like that. And then do this part, clamp this down before you do this. Tighten that wing nut up. I'm gonna take this wing nut, put it right here. Tighten that on there. Actually, you probably noticed before I did. I need to actually loosen this wing nut and this, and now this needs to drop down where this is pretty much flush, so that my escutcheon can get it covered to just the right part. So all this up here looks good. So we'll come down here. And then this carefully just pops on there. And then you can see when I pushed up on it, it kind of raised the ceiling tile. So if I push the ceiling tile back down, it'll get it right to where it needs to go. And that is how to install a ceiling tile with a sprinkler head.